everybody, and welcome back to the You Can't Say That podcast. I'm your host, Jigga, and today, for the very first time, not only am I in video, which is, I feel like is an accomplishment for me, but for this first episode in video, I have with me my best friend of 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe 11 at this point.
Shit, yeah, I think it may be more.
And you know what's funny? I thought I had known you for about like 13 years. It's been like 15.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
That shit.
Bro, I was in
crazy.
5th grade, bro.
That's crazy. Like, that's a crazy long time. Like, we've known each other for longer than we haven't, basically. 'Cause I think I was like 11?
Yeah, I was like 5th grade. That's like, I was like 11.
Nah, I was 11.
You sure?
Yeah, because I was bragging about turning 12. Yo, when I came into Greater Hope, I was bragging about turning 12. Like, it was really so.
Yo, so I had to be like 10, 9.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Damn, only 9 years of my life I didn't know you.
Only 9, though.
Only 9, that's
we
crazy.
known each other for 15. That's crazy. But yeah, we've been best friends for about 10 years or whatever, you know. Before we start, I just want to, first, I appreciate giving people their flowers while they're still here. So I want to give you your flowers and say that I am very proud of you and the man that you are becoming, because from where you came from to where you are now, like, you're a completely different person.
Yeah,
and I feel like people are starting to see that with, you know, your podcast. My best friend has a podcast called Boss Talk with Josh and Keys. Tap in. It's a very good podcast. And, you know, you can tell them about your podcast.
Boss Talk with Josh and Keys, all platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. What else they got? Google Play, whatever. You type that in, you're going to find us. Instagram is Boss Talk _JQ. And then you'll find our personal Instagrams in there. We only follow each other, so boom. Boss Talk with Josh and Keys.
Period. Tap in. It's a great podcast, and I feel like they definitely touch on a lot of shit when it comes to the music, sports industry. I appreciate that. I see, like, how y'all are coming up, and, like, y'all are definitely growing a following and an audience, and y'all are definitely slow and steady coming up.
Yeah. I want to give you your flowers, too, because, like, you definitely have grown from where we was. And, yeah, and, like, you know, like you're really doing some things that are, like, really big in life. And 15 years ago, we didn't think none of this shit. None of this shit we doing right here today we think we was going to do 15 years ago. So you definitely deserve your flowers as well. I love you, and you forever in my heart. You already know that.
Thank you. I love you, too. I also wanted to, on top of giving you your flowers, about, like, the person you've become and what you're doing, like, professionally and personally for yourself. I wanted to give you your flowers for the years that you have been my best friend, and I would say the experiences that we have together, because you definitely have become, even though you're younger than me, I just want to state that he's younger than me, but you're my big brother. That's how I look at you. Like, you're my big brother. That's how I look at you. That's how I look at Joey. Not so much Josh. Sorry, Josh. I love you, though, Josh. I really, really do. But you and Joey, like, y'all are my big brothers, and I appreciate y'all for always being there for me, always being willing to protect me, and always having my best interest at heart, even if I may not have seen it. And especially for you, giving me the advice. A lot of times you have given me advice on situations or on things that I did not listen to your advice at all. And I would sit there and I would listen to you, but when it came, I would not take your advice. And now that I look back, I can see that your advice could have been for my best interest at heart at the end of the day. And so, yeah, I want to give you your flowers and say thank you. And say I appreciate you for being my best friend. And I see the man that you're becoming, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you, too. About the advice thing, it's crazy because it's sometimes you give me advice, and I did not want to take that shit at all. But I did it. And I will say that, like, as far as, like, emotionally controlling yourself and understanding others' emotions and taking all parties into account when you think of things, when I come to you, you definitely do the best at that. I wouldn't go to nobody else for advice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So do you feel like I give good advice?
I feel like you're my therapist sometimes. I want you to take my insurance.
Period. But tell them to call me, because I could definitely appreciate the money. But what was I going to say? How do you feel like we have both grown?
Definitely, we've both grown emotionally, like, as far as, like, controlling emotions. because I mean, even out of school all the way up into college, like I was just fighting. You feel me? Or I got now that we passed it and I've grown past it, I got kicked out of college for fighting. If it wasn't for the school we went to, I probably would have got kicked out of that school for a lot of things. Yeah. For a lot of things.
Me too.
Their tolerance was high as shit. Because I would have
all got kicked out.
We should have all got kicked out of that school about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
But I guess in-house suspension made up for it.
Right.
So I think we definitely grown in that way, controlling our emotions and like doing the right thing in short timing. And as far as just like adulting, like this adulting shit isn't easy at all. And like I think we both like neither of us live with our parents right now.
Right.
And we're maintaining like we got our own shit. We got our own cars. We got our own keys to our own places. And who would have thought?
And we're doing well.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Definitely. And not to be a person of comparison, but compared to the people that are in our demographic, like we're doing so much better than people. And I feel like we beat ourselves up because we aren't where we think we should be, when in reality, like, we're doing so well.
Bro,
and we
facts.
don't give our own self our flowers.
No, facts.
So.
Facts. Because to be honest, like, in comparison to where our parents was at these ages, we're where they were, and it was way easier then. It was way easier then.
Easier.
Like, I know people didn't probably get paid as much, but everything was much cheaper and much easier. Like, I mean, like, even down to, like, if parents didn't have cars, like, SEPTA. Even that shit was cheaper back then.
That was like 75 cents.
75 cents. You feel what I'm saying? Now
yeah,
that
like
shit,
$2.50.
$2.50. Like,
really? Is it?
Like, if we did catch SEPTA, we had, like, $2.50, $3 by now. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like the fact that we've even graduated that part of life and
Right.
we're not on that no more. It's like
We also don't have kids.
This is true.
We don't have kids.
This is true. We're unicorns.
And my mom had almost all of her kids by my age right now.
In the 90s, they was fucking. They was fucking in the 90s.
They was.
I mean, they fucking
was.
in now, but they was fucking in
They
the
was,
90s.
yeah. They was. It's crazy. How many people have kids with so many people? They don't even know their siblings. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, we definitely did some real growing. Proud of us, man.
Now, my next question is, how do you feel? Okay, so I feel like we've definitely both grown. For you, I feel like you've matured. Because I feel like, I'm sorry, for the longest time you were immature within a lot of like different perspectives, I would say. Because when it came to some things, you were mature. But when it came to other things, you were immature, especially when it came to relationships.
Facts. Careless as fuck.
And I would say that for me, I think I've grown definitely. I've definitely grown emotionally. I feel like I've grown mentally, and just like I'm able to I feel like I was definitely a person where I was like, I always have to be right. I always have to be right. I always have to be right. Now I don't feel like that. And I feel like that was a big one for me, because it was me. Now I can take accountability for my actions. And I also feel like we hold each other accountable, but I feel like we've grown to hold ourselves accountable.
True.
Because for the longest time, like, I will hold you accountable for things, you will hold me accountable for things, and we would be quick to tell the other person we were wrong, but we could never see where we were wrong ourselves in situations. So I feel like we've both grown within that respect. Now, my next question is, how do you feel like you've grown when it came to, or both of us have grown when it came to relationships?
So me, shit, if we dating back to like when I met you, then
when you were 9. Jesus Christ.
I mean, to be honest, okay, so let's date back. Okay, so you knew me before I lost my virginity. Once I lost my virginity at 13, this shit was
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's some wild shit.
Yeah, this is crazy. This shit been a race ever since then. Like if we date back, shit, lost my virginity or whatever, and then I was 13. A year later, I was 6 foot, 180 with facial hair.
Oh yeah, you was a grown ass man, and yeah.
You feel me? I was 14 looking like a grown ass man, so it's like I was kind of living that life early. You know what I mean? So like a lot of my relationship shit, I wasn't in relationships then, so a lot of my, time dealing with women was kind of like rushed, because I was older than I looked, and I was attracting people who were older than me. And I was mature in a sense of I wasn't acting like I was 14. You couldn't tell I was 14.
Right.
You know, just looking at me, hanging out with me for a day, you couldn't tell I was 14.
Right.
So like by the time I was 16, I was in clubs. We talking, I'm taking women home, not my home, but home. That's like 10 years older than me. You feel me?
No, hold on. You were taking women to your house too.
I mean, I was, but I wasn't taking like.
No, grown women.
Yeah, I wasn't taking a bunch of grown women to my house. I was taking a few, but I mean like, there's summers where I would stay at my cousin crib where I'm 14. These niggas is getting me. I'm 15. These niggas getting me in clubs. I'm talking like Johnny Blue.
Right.
At 15. This is a 21 and older John, and I'm taking girls home. That's like 24, and I'm humping them.
Do you not look at that as wild now?
It is. It is.
Because you know I'm not one for anything sexist, and I like things to be equal when it comes to these type of things and perspectives. If the shoe was on the other foot and I was 14, 15 going to Johnny Blue, which is a 21 and older club, and going home with a 24-year-old man, how?
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's wild in your sense as well as the man coming home with you. Super wild in his. And I was never one to lie about my age. Like, you know, I didn't really care because I knew I looked older. I knew I felt older, and I knew you mean. Now, what I will say, although it's wild, what I did gain from those experiences is I learned about women, like, intuitively. Like, I'm talking like it was things that I would escape women my age to deal with someone older and find out that they have the same traits. You see what I'm saying? Shit like that. So it's like, not even to get off task. Let me get back on task. So basically, to get to like the growth from where I was then to where I am now, then I was literally the definition of a hoe. I was humping out of both pants legs. There was times I was having like company like 3-4 times after school at my grandma's house. Like, I'm talking like 3 girls in one day. My grandma literally got tired of that shit and was asking me like, these can't all be your friends.
Grandma knew you was humping.
She knew I was humping. It was like I had girls coming over. The first girl that would come over after school was probably doing my homework and then getting hit. And then the next 2 was probably just vibes, like, you feel me? So, like, from then to now, I don't even like that many people in my space. I don't even know why I had that many people who knew where I lived. I'm surprised I didn't have more pop-ups than I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I skipped a lot of bullshit that could have came my way from moving like that. And I think I definitely grew from that, learned from that, and it's disgusting now.
It is. I'm glad that you see that it's so fucking disgusting.
It's disgusting now.
It's disgusting. And I feel like I was like one of the people that was in your ear like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
that shit was crazy.
That shit's crazy. Now, what about how would you say that I have grown when it came to relationships?
You still like your men short, so I mean.
No.
No, you don't.
Not necessarily. I'm not a height discriminator. Like, I don't do that. I don't.
You had some short niggas in your past.
I did.
But I think now, like, you look. I mean, I feel like even then, like, you were more mature than me, at least in that sense. So I can't really say you looking for the right thing in the man then now compared to then, because it's not like you wasn't looking for the wrong things then. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel like what I will say is though, one thing that's not even, I can't even say that's a growth, because you've always been destined for marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You was never like in it for fun. Like, it was never fun for you. It was like, nigga, relationship or you mean?
Now I will say I had my fun years where fun as it can get for me. But I will say I had my fun years where I was just like not in it for necessarily a relationship, but more for entertainment. And that was when, you know, back in from like 2018 to 2020, I think that was, or 2021.
Yeah, but you deserve that though. So I can't look at that as wrong, because at the end
I did, because it was like you have to experience time on your own.
Yeah.
I would say. So yeah, I would say that. But other than that, like, I'm not really a person for.
I feel like mentally you always been on the right track, regardless of the fun shit. I feel like everybody got to have that fun. If you got married without that fun, you would have had that fun in your marriage years, and it wouldn't have been the best thing for you.
At all. Or the marriage.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Or the marriage. So it's like, I think you granted yourself that wish. Like, It was needed. You know what I'm saying?
Take that wish.
So, like, respectfully, it's hard to say that you really grew in relationships, because you always had, like, especially for the age that you were at, the right mindset to me. Okay. Well, in comparison to me, for sure.
I think mine just came with needing personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
Personal growth.
Yeah, if anything, like, you matured within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Relationship wise, I think you come on, like, I think you already had the right shit mentally planned out. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, from the rip, like, you already knew what you wanted. You was not in this shit to fuck and then get passed off and then end up getting fucked again and then end up with somebody. It was never that for you.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah,
all
I
right.
think you've been on point.
So, since we're talking about relationships, you are in a relationship.
Yeah.
With somebody who well, not that I've ever not liked anybody that you dealt with, but I
think you could have. It's been girls that you've been like, I'm so glad that didn't work out.
Yo. But it's like, you gotta be supportive, because at the end of the day, I feel like we've both had that experience with each other where it's like, I'm so glad that never worked out.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, while you were in it, it's like, all right, like.
Yeah, you definitely let me cruise. You let me cruise.
Then after,
once I bung out, it was like,
okay, that was never for you.
Yeah, like, and I love you for that. Like, you always kept it being like, you waited, like, you never was mean to the person or whatever, but you were just like, I'm just glad that didn't work out for you. But it was times where it was like, damn, I really liked her. Like, you fucked up, and now it's like, nigga, we gotta do this shit all over. Yo, my friends used to be like, we gotta do this shit all over with you, cause like
meet her again.
Like, we gotta meet somebody else. Like,
I used to hate that, because it's like, I actually liked her. Like, we was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can say that I disliked at the time how you set me up. When it is okay if I say her name.
Yeah.
All right, Jazz. It's his girlfriend's name. I disliked at the time how you set us up.
How such
and I don't know if she knew at the time, but I was mad because we had, I think it was my second time, like, being around her. Like, y'all had been together or whatever. We ended up going to, like, the escape room, like, all of us together or whatever with Joey. And then after that, me, you, and her were supposed to go to, because we were saying how, like, I needed to be around her more or whatever. Me, you, and her were supposed to go to a silent party downtown.
I was supposed to go?
Yep. So, we were supposed to go to a silent party downtown.
What did I do that night?
Nothing. Literally nothing. So, Jazz actually ended up coming to pick me up. Mm-hmm. And we go to the silent party, and then I get a message from you like, yeah, I'm not coming. So, mind you, this is my second time around this girl.
Damn.
I don't have no problem with her or anything, but I didn't know her. Mm-hmm. So, the what is that called? Like, the cushion, the safety was supposed to be you and us getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. So, I'm glad that it ended up working out, because we ended up having a great night and enjoyed ourselves or whatever. And I will say I definitely love Jazz. Keep her around. But you definitely set us up.
I forgot what I was doing. What was I doing?
You wasn't doing nothing.
Because I picked y'all up, right?
No. Yeah, you picked us. You picked us up after it was over.
So how did she pick you up?
That's okay, so she came to pick me up, and then you met us down here, and we all rode in a car.
Oh, what the fuck was I doing?
Nothing. You set us up.
No, I had to be doing something, because I feel like I was supposed to go to that.
You was. That was the exact point.
We got it. We're going to get down to the bottom of this, and we're going to hash this out on the live or something, because I feel like I was doing something. I was doing something.
You was like, it's okay. It's a great time for y'all to get to know each other. I'm like,
I don't think it was a purposeful thing. I don't think I did it on purpose.
And you know how I know it was purposeful? Because I know you, and you do stuff like that. And you'll sit there and you be like, all right, this is how I'm going to do it. Because she's not going to think, da-da-da-da. You go through scenarios like that.
I don't think I did in that situation, though.
Okay.
I think I really got caught up doing something. Because how the fuck I ended up down there?
You ended up, I think, catching an Uber or something.
That don't even sound like me. I ain't catch Uber. I don't even have an app on my phone.
Well, I don't know how you got down there.
I don't know how I got down there. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to remember.
Set us up.
What the fuck was I doing? I don't know. I might have been doing something.
I don't know. But it ended up working up great because I love her. So that works out good. Now, I will say...
Want me to get into some...
Yeah, you could go ahead.
Get into some questions?
First, yeah.
Okay, all right. So my questions are like... I might have to switch the order around on mine. Because, like, they get into marriage. And since we still in relationship talk...
Right. All right, hold on 1 second. Because I definitely had a question. Is the reason I even brought up you being in a relationship is how are you enjoying relationship life as opposed to...
Being a hoe?
Being a hoe. Hold on, because I don't think these people understand. If you know Marquise, you know that he was a hoe. But if you don't know Marquise, you don't know how much of a hoe he really was.
Yeah, that shit was bad.
It was so bad. I mean, like, bad. Having a girl come over, humping her leaving, another one pulling up 5 minutes later, her humping her leaving, and it's just being a cycle
and then somebody spend the night.
And then somebody spend the night. And then the next morning somebody come over. It was every single day. So bad.
It was so bad, like, just to put in perspective how bad it was so bad that one time I remember I had a girl at my crib cooking breakfast, and I took her car to go to another girl crib, ate breakfast, humped, came back hungry, and ate breakfast again, washed up and humped again. I'm talking like I left the girl in my crib for like 3 hours. Breakfast was cool. I had to rewarm the shit. She was asleep when I got in the crib, man.
I'm not surprised, but it's just like, why would you do something like that?
I was really moving like that, like on a daily basis. I'm talking like I took her car and probably used up all the gas because where I went was kind of far.
And you know what's funny? You would be like, yeah, I'm about to, how you think I can finesse this situation? Call me and be like, how you think I can finesse this situation? I'm in a pickle right now. And I'm like, you could honestly just tell the truth. You could stop being
That was over.
That was always like... Before I became like before I got into the good best friend mode, I would always be like, you could honestly just tell the truth and stop being a hoe. And it's like, okay, since you're not going to stop doing that, this is how you can finesse the situation. Like, you gonna do this, and you gonna tell her to leave. You gonna tell her your grandma need you. She needs you to go to the store, and it's gonna be real far. Like, I would help you out, but I would tell you like, all right, like, stop being a hoe.
That shit was bad. Like, it was bad. Like, I was staying with women that had baby dads living in their basement. Like, girl had a baby. Girl, the way the house set up, he couldn't get in the crib from the inside.
I think you told me this story.
I was sleeping upstairs with his baby mom. They wasn't together, but like that close. You feel me? And his son is in the room, in the crib.
You definitely told me the story about how you humped somebody and her baby was in the room.
Bro, that shit was crazy. I be thinking back.
And the baby got up and looked?
Yeah, the baby woke up. Like 3 o'clock in the morning. That shit was crazy.
And so, back to the question.
She was like 10 years older than me, too.
That's so bad.
I think I was like 18. She was like 28, 29.
Of how are you enjoying relationship life as compared to that life?
Yeah. Honestly, I always loved relationships more than being a hoe. It took for me to get to like 11th grade to realize that when I was growing up or whatever, I was always, a hoe or whatever. But when I got in 11th grade, toward the end of 11th grade, I got in a relationship. And it was a real serious relationship. I was dealing with a girl. She was a virgin. She went to Friere. I used to go down to her school every day. Like, I used to leave my school early. I used to leave whenever the fuck I wanted to.
Right.
I used to leave school whenever the fuck I wanted to. Go to her school, to the let out. We go chill at Love Park and shit like that. Like, relationship life was always, like, destined for me. Like, I feel like I was a hoe, but relationship life was always what I wanted. So, ever since then, I've realized, like, I love relationships. So, like, the relationship I'm in now, I kind of look at it like an everyday growth type of situation. Like, every day I just want to be better than I was yesterday. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, and I look at this shit like, honestly, like, not like a video game, but more so like, let's beat this level and have fun and going into the next one. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay. And
beat that and have fun going to the next one. Like, I know it's going to be ups and downs, but let's have fun and get this shit, like, go. Like, let's push and be better for each other and work our way to marriage. Like, I love relationships way more than being a hoe. Being a hoe ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. For all my niggas out here hoeing, bro, number one, it's 2022. I don't even know how you trust these women enough to do that. 2, it's too much social platforms and too many ways to get caught up. You know what I'm saying? And, bro, the good girl is going to treat you right and make you it's worth leaving that other shit alone, bro. Having somebody to come home to, you can hump on whenever you want. She going to cook for you, clean for you, you clean, you know what I'm saying? Y'all do what y'all do type shit. It's much better than being a hoe. I couldn't imagine doing that no more. All right, so since we got into the relationship thing and shit like that, my question is, before I get into marriage questions, I want to ask you this one. Let's say that you're dealing with somebody and, like, y'all not married or whatever, y'all just together, right? But y'all been together for a while. You actually love this person, right? Mm-hmm. What are some key red flags that will immediately turn you away from a person that you already love?
That's a deep question, because if you're already in love with them, it takes a lot for somebody to do something for you to fall out of love with them. I would say for me, from what I've learned, is number one, I feel like cheating. I feel like that's a given for some people. Definitely one for me. Cheating. I feel like dishonesty. Not like the little white lies, because it is what it is. They matter. They do matter, but I feel like that won't
make you just walk away from somebody you love.
Make you just walk away. But I feel like dishonesty, especially when it comes to like the big things. I feel like for me, a red flag is if we're in a relationship and it's not we. Like, because I feel like I'm somebody that, like, if I'm involved with you and I'm seriously involved with you, this isn't something casual, then I'm giving my all to this relationship, and I see a future with you. I see marriage with you. So if it's not we, that's really a red flag, because that means you don't see a future, even if you say you do. Because a lot of times you can tell if somebody actually sees the future if when they talk about the future, it's not a we and it's an I.
Right.
I have to do this. I have to do this so I can have this. No, it's I have to do this so we can have this. Right. So we can be set up for this. So for me, that's a red flag, no matter how in love you are with somebody, because in the end, it will never go nowhere, because they don't see a future with you. I feel like love languages is a big thing for me.
It's a big one.
I feel like not loving somebody in their love language can be detrimental to a relationship. And
that's one of my questions too.
Not only detrimental to a relationship, but to the person. A red flag that can make me not love somebody anymore. Not necessarily not love somebody, but turn me away from somebody I already love, would be communication. I feel like one that I definitely look for is if you start to say you'll do something and then you just don't do it. That is so big for me, because if you say you're going to do something, I need you to stand in your word and be able to do it. I feel like one thing I look for now, especially, is if you can lead. Do you have a plan for us? And is it a way that, because I think that, yeah, you need to have a plan for us, but at the same time, like, is it a plan that I can help us get to? Because you come with the plan and I figure out a way for us to get there. We work together or whatever. So can you lead, basically? Something that cannot make me love somebody. And I would say just stagnation or getting comfortable. It is very important, no matter how long you've been with somebody, to get comfortable. Because no matter how long you've been with somebody, there's always... Getting comfortable that won't keep them. That will not keep the relationship happy. That will not keep the relationship alive. And that will not keep them there, no matter how long you've been with them. Because I think a lot of people make the mistake that I've been with this person so long that they'll always be here so I can get comfortable, basically. But stagnation in a relationship will ultimately end it.
I gotta take two of those from you. The love language one and the comfortability one. They my main two.
Okay.
Because you gotta love me in my love language, or else I don't feel loved.
Right.
We're gonna get into that later, because that's one of my questions.
Right.
And then the second one is getting comfortable, because how you got me is why you actually have me. And that's something that you do not need to forget, because the moment that you forget how you got me, you're no longer going to have me anymore. All you did was get me and lost me because you couldn't keep up with how you got me.
Right.
Like, for example, I know how I got my girl. You feel what I'm saying? And I try to keep up with those things. Even if I can't keep up with them, I keep up with them to an extent so she don't forget how I got her.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, for example, I bring flowers in that bitch at least once a month. At worst case scenario, I know niggas who can't tell you the last time they got flowers in a year.
They can't tell you where to get flowers.
They can't even, you feel what I'm saying? They don't even know where a flower shop is at. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I try to do the little things that will keep us together. I still take my girl on dates once a week. I try to, like minimum once a week. You feel what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck if we going somewhere just to grab a bite.
Right. But it matters. And
but it matters and it counts. We went somewhere. You can't. It's never gonna be a time where you say we don't go out no more. You feel what I'm saying? It's never gonna be a time where you say you don't give me flowers no more. Cause those things I did to get you. Before we was together, I got flowers sent to her crib. We wasn't even together yet. Pandemic hit. She was stressing. She wasn't working. She was getting the pandemic money, but she wasn't working. So she just was like being a full-time mom in the crib all day. Like, she got tired. I sent flowers to the crib. I had it. Feel me? Brighten her day up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just try to do the little things to like keep shit intact. Like, Flirting?
People stop flirting after a few years.
Yeah, and that's dry. That's dry. We do that too. Like, I be telling her, yeah, we need to text a little dirty sometime. Like, we're a rap though. Cause like don't let this shit dry out. Like, I don't give a fuck if we hump. Like, you know what I'm saying? Tell me how that shit was in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Tell me, you know what I'm saying, how you want that shit again next time or whatever the case may be. Definitely keep this shit fresh. Like, we not old. We not old. And even when we get old.
Exactly. You need to keep it young.
Listen, I had a grandma tell me, she said, I said, like, do people still have sex when they get old? She told me I'm old, not dead. Facts. No. What are you talking about? I'm old, not dead. You know what I'm saying? Still ride that shit. Pony. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I definitely think, like, it's certain shit you definitely got to keep intact.
For sure. So, what are you only two? What are you only two?
Yeah, they probably moral understanding. Like, for sure. Like, is this wrong to you? If it's, like, detrimentally wrong to me, and it's not detrimentally wrong to you, and you don't ever see yourself looking at it as detrimentally wrong, and it's detrimentally wrong, nah. That's a quick, let's just save ourselves the headache later.
Yeah. Like we might as well end this
today because, like, if you don't think, let's just throw an example out there. If you don't think this man that like you picking you up and taking you home from work every day is an issue, and he flirting with you and you gotta flirt back to get this ride,
that's some wild shit.
Like, I don't give a fuck if you done suck his dick. Like, why do you think that's cool? You see what I'm saying?
No, that's not cool, but some people think that's okay.
Some people think I'm just getting the ride to work. I'm not worried about what he think. He flirting with me. I'm not flirting with him. That is wrong, shorty. You are opening the door that is letting maggots the fuck in this joint. We not doing that.
Well, ultimately, in a relationship, if you don't have the same foundational moral agreements. This nigga
bang one left and go to his crib because he gotta pee or something.
You gotta pick up some.
Yeah, you feel me? Now you in a hole. Now you in a pickle.
Now you done been to his house.
Yeah, you feel me? Like, now that's okay. Like, no, we not even.
People don't see where they open those doors at, and they don't understand how doing something so simple can really open the door.
So simple. Y'all can live around the corner from each other. Now this nigga know not only where you and I live, you know where he live, and you in his car every day comfortable. Not feeling that.
With the seat back. Passenger seat princess.
Yeah, passenger seat princess. You got your feet on the dashboard, all that.
Close the vents and all.
It's like, come on now. We ain't doing that.
Yo.
We ain't doing that. This nigga arms reach away from, like, grabbing your thigh while he drive. I'm cool. That's my job. I will come pick your ass up. You're tripping. So, yeah, it's like keeping up with the little shit.
All right, so my question is, what do you do to maintain a healthy relationship?
I got a short fuse, and that's one of my issues. I have a very short fuse. Yeah, I was looking at that, bro. I thought you knew.
Bad.
I thought you knew.
Telfar, we need to talk. That's bad. No, I ain't.
When did that happen?
Today. I think when I was pulling it from the big one.
Ooh,
Telfar, we need to talk. Bro, that's out of pocket.
That's a red flag.
For sure a red flag.
That shouldn't happen that easy.
And I loved y'all too. That's a red flag that make me not want to fuck with y'all no more.
You got two of them Jones right now today. So
right
it's
now,
like
next to each other. And I just got the sale that they had on the 23rd. Y'all looking real bad. I might have to return them Jones. I don't know.
Yeah, y'all acting bad.
I got a few Telfar bags for sale.
You got to clip this and send it to her so she can show you some love, because we could easily be a sponsor right now. Like, we got two bags in the room at once.
We do though.
We could easily
the medium and the small one.
You
the
feel
big
me?
One, we ain't bringing that one in.
But damn,
that's wild.
That's crazy. But what was you saying?
How are you? What do you do now to maintain a healthy relationship?
I got a short fuse. like I was saying, but and it's crazy. It's crazy. A lot of women probably think I'm crazy because I got a short fuse. I'll snap out real quick, but give me 10, 15 minutes, I'm trying to fix it. You feel what I'm saying? I try to maintain a relationship by having more good times than bad. If we allow the bad times to last too long, ultimately they'll outweigh the good times. Like if we argue for a week, that eliminates a date.
It do. That's another thing I wanted to touch on, how bad times in a relationship start to eliminate good ones if you have too many.
Too many. You feel what I'm saying? So my whole mindset behind this shit is, all right, we could argue, right? But if this argument takes 30 minutes, it don't outweigh what we going to do afterwards with the rest of the time we got in the rest of the day. Like, we could argue. That's cool. But if this argument take, let's say, 2 hours, right? 2 hours for us to argue, and then like an hour for us to argue, like an hour for us to calm down, right? And then I come back to you and I hash it out and we fix it. And now we go do some cheap, quick shit. We go to the movies.
Right.
$25.
Don't even matter no more.
Argument don't even matter no more. But if we argue and now we at a standstill for a week because we still got emotions that's up in the air, that outweighs the date that we took last week. That take out like however many days you argue, a date take a few hours. So if you arguing for days, you done eliminated like 10 dates as far as time goes with good times and bads.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, and I'm not counting the times we good, but we just in the crib chilling. That's an easy medium.
Right.
Because it could.
That's the study.
Yeah, that's the study. That's what's supposed to be worst case scenario for real.
Right.
But our goods should never outweigh our bads, and I feel like that's how I maintain a healthy relationship.
Good. Other way around.
I mean, our bad should never outweigh our goods. Yeah, you're right. And that's how I think I maintain a healthy relationship.
Okay. And how do you feel like it maintaining a healthy relationship, or she, Jazz, has changed you?
It's changed me because so it taught me something. So our arguments last longer than I would want them to, but it's taught me that sometimes you gotta just get that girl some space.
That's another thing I wanted to touch on, because I know for you, when you have an argument, right then and there, it's like, all right, let's talk about it, let's fix it, let's do all these things. Yeah. And she's more of a, no, like, I need to calm down, like, I need to think over this or whatever. So how do y'all balance that out?
We still working on it.
Okay.
Like, and that's the beauty of a relationship. That's
you get to still work on it.
That's the beauty of it. Like, you get to take the time to learn that person in their wrongs and try to teach them.
Right.
And that don't just go for her. That go for me too. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's times where she, what the fuck? Like, why am I with this nigga? You feel what I'm saying? Not like verbally, but I'm saying like just me from the outside looking in. I know I'm a headache to where it's like, what the fuck?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like at the end of the day, we still holding each other at night, so we gonna fix it. You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty of it. So yeah, it's all about learning your partner and learning how to help them learn. You see what I'm saying? It's not about drilling the same sentence into their head of what they need to do. No, I'm here with you. So what we need to do to get you here, so we don't get here again. Right. That's the real lesson of it. It's not, you need to stop doing A, B, and C. It's all right. You do A, B, and C when this happens. All right, so let's just control that. Let's just control this whole situation so that way it don't got to happen again.
Okay. What do you feel like your biggest hurdle when it comes to, I wouldn't say adjusting because I feel like you've been in a relationship for a while. So when it comes to getting used to like that being your life, basically, what do you say like your biggest adjustment or hurdle is?
Probably that. Probably the not arguing for days. That's my biggest one. Because, like you said, I want to fix it right now. I want to fix it right now so not only can we fuck tonight, but we can go have fun and go outside and try to forget it. And then come home and have sex and forget it again. Okay. Which to some people sounds toxic, like argue and then have sex. Is like, but I'm more so in the type time like going out and having sex is above an easy medium. That's memories. That's good times versus we've been beefing for a month. You feel me? Like that's like OD.
Okay.
So, you mean?
Cool. And I guess for me, I can't necessarily answer that question because I'm not dating. So relationship life has not changed me. But I would say for single life, for me, I chose to stop dating. Actually, this month makes a year.
Mm-hmm.
I chose to stop dating, stop talking, stop all of that, and just spend time with myself because I feel like when I was younger, the years that I had to grow into an adult, even though I definitely still grew into an adult, because I was in a relationship, I didn't get to necessarily learn me.
Mm-hmm.
And it really carried from teenage years to adult years.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get those years to learn me, and after I was just like, having fun, casually dating, not really paying attention to myself how you should. So I feel like now single life has taught me me. It has really taught me who I am, and I can now stand firm in single life, like in myself. I'm sorry, in the. I now know what I believe wholeheartedly. Right. I now know without what somebody else believes, because I feel like when you're in a relationship, it's like, what do we believe?
Mm-hmm.
What do we know? What do we stand for? But then when you get out of that, you're by yourself and you're single or whatever, it's all about me. And because I'm not dating anybody, I also don't have to give any energy to anything or anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to give all of that to myself and love myself and learn myself. And I feel like that I've learned an extreme amount of things, not only about myself, but about life, about what I want, about what I will no longer tolerate, and about where I see myself going. And I think that's very important.
That actually brings me to my next question.
Right.
The one that we already touched on earlier. If a person is loving you and they're loving you in their love language instead of yours,
mm-hmm.
Are they actually loving you, and are you actually feeling loved?
So my answer to that is they are. If you're loving somebody in any love language and it's not theirs, you are loving them. Mm-hmm. But something I feel like I used to always say is, I know you love me, I don't feel loved by you.
Right.
So I think it becomes very important that one thing about relationships is they're 100% voluntary. Like, you do not have to be in a relationship if you don't want to. Mm-hmm. So when you choose to enter into a relationship with somebody, you're choosing to accept their responsibility, that now I have a responsibility to give you peace, give you safety, and make you feel loved. Mm-hmm. So if I'm voluntarily taking on that responsibility and entering into this relationship, and I now have to fulfill those duties, and when it comes to fulfilling a healthy relationship, if I'm choosing, and you voiced your love language to me, and I'm actively choosing not to love you how you feel loved, it's like, why am I even in the relationship if I'm not doing what I entered into the relationship to do?
Right.
And I think that I saw this quote. What's funny, because what was it, like yesterday or the day before on Twitter? Somebody was actually talking about this. And they had said, what joy do you get from seeing your flower wilt because you aren't caring for it properly? Why are you voluntarily entering into a situation you don't want to be responsible for? Which means taking on what the responsibility of making somebody feel loved, basically. If you don't want to learn your partner's love language, what logical reason is there for taking on any of that responsibility of a relationship with them? Why would you hear your partner say, this is how I feel loved, and not give them love the way they feel it? Mm-hmm. Why not give them that security? So if I feel like everything in life when it comes to people comes down to security. So when it comes to you in a relationship or how you feel loved, if I tell you I feel loved by spending time with you, that's my security. Mm-hmm. So why aren't you making me feel secure within this relationship? Why are you actively choosing to give me every single love language but the one that you know that I feel?
Right.
I feel like that's selfish.
Agreed. And I agree with that point exactly. Like, you love me, but I don't in any way, shape, or form feel loved, because I'm telling you what makes me feel loved. A, B, and C makes me feel loved. If you give me D, E, and F, we just on two different playing fields. Like, I know you love me, but I don't feel it. Not one bit. You're ignoring the ways that help me feel it.
Exactly. On purpose. Because a lot of people get into arguments about that. About how... Because I feel like I've been in arguments about that, about how I felt love, and another person like didn't want to give that, regardless of what the reason was. Like they didn't want to give that, and I feel like so Jada and Will, when Jada had her entanglement and they did their podcast episode, Will was saying how he had threw Jada like this big ass party for her 40th birthday. And Jada said he did all of that. It was this big surprise. He went all out, had every A-list celebrity you could think of, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this party, and she was like, I never wanted that. But for Will, that's how he showed Jada that he loved her.
Right.
And to him, he went all out. He put 100% in it. And she was just like, I just wanted to spend time with you. I never wanted that. I wanted a quiet birthday. And he gave her all this, spent all this money, and the whole time he was so mad at her, like, how could you not be so appreciative? Like, you're unappreciative of everything I'm doing, which he did a lot. He gave 100%, and he put his all into it, and the whole time, she never wanted that. So is she wrong for being unappreciative, quote unquote?
Did she verbalize what she wanted?
Yes, multiple times.
Wrong. At the slightest, yeah.
Why do you feel like she's wrong for?
Because like it at least show that you at least act like this is fun because it is your birthday.
Okay, I see where you're coming from.
At the end of the day, grind me up though, like you did.
So,
but you know,
I feel like I see where you're coming from, but I disagree because if the whole time you're doing all this, I'm saying for my birthday, that's all I want. I just want to just spend time with you. That's it. I don't want nothing extra, and I keep voicing this. But you throw this big ass party. And I'm repeatedly telling you, because I feel like this goes back to love language. Well, that love language for Will was gifts, acts of service. And for Jada, she just wanted quality time.
So, yeah, he's wrong for ignoring her love language 110%. I just don't think she should have showed that she wasn't appreciative. She could have told him in private.
I think she did. She told him in private. Like, that was a private conversation.
Oh, okay.
They were having this conversation years later on a podcast, like, this is what happened.
Oh, okay. Well, then no. Will's wrong.
Yeah,
she's not.
He was like, how could you not enjoy it? She was like, I didn't want any of that.
Right, yeah. If she didn't want it and she told you she didn't want it, then, like, nigga, listen.
Yeah, I feel like...
Especially if y'all like Will and Jada, like, money's not an issue. So if she's telling you that's what she want, it's not because she think that's what you can give her. It's because, like, that's what she want. Because, like, you know, some people, like, in our life will be like, oh, I want a Birkin, but you can give me a Coach bag.
Right.
Like, you feel me?
Kind of thing, yeah.
So it's like, I might just say, I want a Coach bag because I know you're not coming in here with no Birkin.
Right. Like, you're not about to go get a $40,000 bag.
Right. So it's like, in their case, nigga, I know you can get me whatever I want. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I want, and you should listen.
And I don't want nothing.
Yeah. I just want to chill.
Yeah.
Let me dig into the next one. Let me see, because we running short on time. So let me pick a good one. Okay. This is a good one. With each new partner that you get, right? With that comes new, like, ways of life and necessities that you need. And I'll give an example. And, like, so basically what I'm asking is, with each new partner, do you grow things that you now want from your next partner? And if that next partner can't give you those exact things, are there, like, supplemental things that'll make up for it? And, like, for example, I mean, like, me now dealing with, from my ex to Jazz, me now dealing with somebody who loves to cook often, more often than less. I don't see myself going backwards. I don't see myself being with somebody who can't cook. But a supplement would be somebody who enjoys eating out and want to take me out to all these restaurants and put me on rather than cook. Will that make up for it?
Okay, so are we talking about petty necessities?
Anything. Like, okay. It's going to be some things that a nigga that just, he show you and it's like, I can't go back.
Okay, I agree. That sometimes you do start to experience, with new people, you do start to experience, sometimes even casually dating somebody, they'll show you something you like, I'm never going backwards. Like, that, like, this is now a necessity for me. I feel like there are petty necessities and then there are, like, detrimental necessities. And sometimes when you're casually dating somebody where it's like you don't see it going anywhere, even they can show you something that you realize, like, this is now a necessity for me. And even though you're not going to be here, but now that I'm moving forward, I now know what I now want and what is necessary for me. For me, I think that my necessities are always not necessarily petty.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I feel like if I have gained a necessity, I can't then find somebody I can't compromise on that. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you come into a new relationship, should be certain things that each person should not compromise on.
Facts.
So I feel like my necessity now, let's see, I feel like while I was like casually dating or whatever, I had a thing for street niggas.
Mm-hmm.
And niggas that hopefully the feds don't see, that sold drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've definitely, most of them probably did. I think I've probably in my life only messed with 1 or 2 people that didn't. Yeah, probably 2 people that did not sell drugs. And I feel like for me, now, it's a necessity that you don't. I don't want that. Like, I don't want any involvement in that anymore. Like, I don't want the type of person that comes with that. And it's definitely a necessity that, for me, you have something outside of drug money going for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That you have a plan for yourself. I feel like, for me, if you don't already have... If you can't tell me where you see yourself in 5 years, it ain't gonna work.
Right.
Because I can tell you where I see myself 25 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you... I feel like another thing is, can your motivation match my motivation?
Mm-hmm.
Can what I'm doing in my life, and not saying that you have to have everything. I got 5 jobs. You don't have to have 5 jobs, but do you have shit going for yourself?
Right.
Do you have things that you plan for your life set up? And I feel like that's one necessity I won't compromise on, because there's no way I can't deal with somebody where I'm like, I feel like I'm pushing you. Where a lot of times I've dealt with people and they're like, I don't, like, you really got your head on straight. And for the longest time, people would tell me I had my head on straight and all this, and they was so inspired and all that. By then, I didn't understand. And so I actually started having conversation with girls that were my age. And I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, it's a lot of knuckleheads out this job.
I see now, like, when somebody might tell me, like, oh, I'm just out here working. And I'm like, that's, you don't want nothing for yourself? Like, that's it? Now I start to understand why I may have been a unicorn. Because to me, I wasn't a unicorn. It was like, nobody, you don't want shit for your life, but people really don't.
Yeah, people really don't.
And I feel like at the same time I was having that conversation where niggas was saying I was a unicorn with niggas who also didn't want much for themselves. So that's why I was such a unicorn, because they didn't even want that for themselves. So I feel like that's definitely something I'm not compromising on. I don't feel like I have any petty necessities. Mine are definitely just, definitely being, I feel like I definitely mess with people where it's like we have so many differences, but we'll figure a way to work them out. No. I'm sorry. I'm not about to sit there and waste my time trying to figure out how your morals can fit in my morals, but they're not the same morals. Like, I'm not doing that. So I feel like that's definitely something I'm not compromising on at all. I feel like I'm sure there are more, but that's all I got.
Like, for me, I feel like cooking is one.
You don't think that's a petty necessity?
No, because for the women I had that didn't cook, I think back to all the nights I was hungry. And I think back to
you could have cooked yourself?
I think back to all the nights I had to spend $50 on Uber Eats and all that.
You Chef Boyardee.
I like cooking, but I didn't really cook for damn. Whoever see this from my past, y'all gonna be mad because I really can't cook.
As hell.
I didn't never cook for nobody but Jazz.
Damn.
I never really cooked. Like, you wanna know the last person I cooked for besides Jazz? Josh, on a consistent basis. Josh, swear to God. Swear to God,
Josh over here getting home cooked meals.
Josh over here getting whatever. Nigga be like, hey, bro, yo, swear to God, this nigga's be like, hey, bro, can you cook? Bro, I be like, all right, fuck it. And nobody, I never cooked for nobody else. No homo. Like, that's my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, love him to death. Like, I never really cooked for nobody else heavy. Like, me and you would cook together at the apartment, but it wasn't really, we never really cooked that much. Right. We already had somebody cooking for us.
Right,
so it was like,
Mama
cool.
definitely cooked.
She was throwing that shit down for us. So it was like, and like, you know how they say, like, you know how they say some people look for their mom in a relationship? Mm-hmm. Me, I don't look for my mom in a relationship, but there are some qualities that she set in stone that I'm not going back from. It is some things that she did that I'm just not going back from. Like, I watched her be a strong, black, independent woman And on top of that, she cooked for me. Those are two things I'm not going back from. I need you to be a strong, black, independent woman. And I need you to cook.
Because a few episodes ago, I literally stated how I no longer call myself a strong, independent black woman.
Why not?
Because I feel as though society has conditioned us to, like, when you call your mom a strong, independent black woman, you're measuring that by how much trauma she has been through, and how much you've seen her take on.
This is true.
And I don't think that we should be looking to become a strong, independent black woman because we're sitting there saying, I need to be able to take on all this trauma. I need to do this so I can get this status of being a strong, independent black woman. I'm no longer doing that in life.
Okay, I can agree with that, but this is one part that I won't agree with. I'm not measuring it based off of just her trauma. I'm measuring it off of the worldly trauma and in comparison to how ours is so much worse. So, for example, I mean, like, no offense to my white friends, but their trauma is, oh, my mom and dad got divorced. And that'll make Jeffrey Dahmer turn into a fucking weirdo. You feel what I'm saying? Whereas though, divorce, motherfucking parents done got shot, motherfucking parents done died, my dad was on crack, all the shit that us black people go through, and it's like, we still maintain, if you look at all the rich black people, a lot of them ain't had shit growing up. Like, shit, they was strong. They was strong. See, a lot of other people would have broke.
But that's where I disagree that we should be aspiring to look for somebody that has that. Not saying that you don't want them to be able to be resilient and overcome the things that life throws at them. But we should never be aspiring to be so strong because we're sitting there glorifying, in a way, those traumatic experiences that we experience. No matter where they come from, you're glorifying it. And I feel like part of growing in life and just living a peaceful and more joyful life is no longer glorifying those traumas that you have experienced, or no longer measuring anything within yourself and how great of a person you've become and how you've grown by all these traumas I've overcome. So I'm so strong and I'm so independent and I'm such a strong, independent black woman. I don't agree with doing that anymore.
You know what? This is why I say that you're mentally my therapist. I would never looked at it that way.
At all, yeah.
So, I can agree to that. We got a few more before we get out of here. I'm going to ask one more. I guess you got one more for me too?
Yeah.
All right. This is one that I like. So, I feel like, and I could be wrong, right? I'm trying to find the best way to word it. But a man will show husband-like qualities to a woman before he's a husband in order for her to know that he's husband material. Whereas though, on the other hand, the world we live in today, women don't show those same qualities until a man shows that he's committed enough to make them a wife. So, for example, I mean, like, today you have this argument of modern women versus city girls, right?
Right.
And how every girl in today's world, not every girl, but a vast majority of them cling more to the city girl side. They may have some modern women in them, but they want to be city girls.
Right.
Right? And it takes away from wife-like qualities when you want to be a city girl. That
Okay.
takes away from your independence. It takes away from your leadership. It takes away from your overall mentality and like, you know, your vision on life, your aspect on life. Whereas though a man is showing you husband-like qualities before being married.
So, in regards to that question, I just want to know, do you hear the bullshit that's coming out of your mouth? Because, and I'll tell you why. Because I feel as though, now we're going to have different perspectives on this, of course, but I feel as though now we may be talking about different calibers of females, because the females that I have conversations with, they feel like they're showing wifely duties, and the men aren't. Because me and all the girls that I know want to know the answer to this question. Where are these men that are showing these husband-like qualities before, in the beginning of a relationship, before getting married? Where are these men? Please tell me.
All right, so for example, right? Let's just throw an example out there. Any man that is coming into your house, or y'all got a place together or whatever, you come into his house, however it works, and he's protecting, providing, making sure that you got what you need, not letting you go without. When you fall, he pick you up. He's being a father to your kids, if you're being a woman to his kids as well, things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all don't have kids together and things like
Right.
that. Or even if y'all do have kids together, even stronger, even better. And
Mm-hmm.
he's being a father, he's protecting, he's providing. These are all husband-like qualities, right?
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Women will cook, clean, things like that. Womanly like nature qualities, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like for example, I don't go out. I don't really go out. I can count on two hands how much I've been out, and one hand, really, in the last month, two, in really like the last year,
Mm-hmm.
other than like going out to watch football. Women, they still want to have fun and do everything that they do, which you can have fun when you're married, but it's different. It's different. I feel like women put this pressure on themselves that the moment that he marry me, I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to turn into this wife. And it's like you forcing yourself to backdate your life and to jump into a new one.
I feel like if that's the case and a man is coming into a relationship and he's given all these husband-like qualities, but he's dealing with a city girl, you're dealing with the wrong girl. I feel like, no disrespect to any like of the girls that you were messing with before when you were in your whole phase or whatever, but they were not girls that you would have made your wife.
Not at all.
So I feel like now the city girls are for the city boys. And the boys the men that are bringing those husband-like qualities are looking for city girls when they shouldn't be.
This is true.
And I do feel like even when it comes to the girls that say like they feel like they're giving wife-like qualities to men when they shouldn't. First of all, you should know who you should not give those qualities to, who you should not give those experiences to. But they're looking for the city boys because that lifestyle's so glorified because he's so fine and he got this and that, and it's just like you going after the wrong boy, sis.
All right, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You finding your husband at the club?
No, not at all.
You finding your husband at the bar?
No.
If you go to the bar every day and you see this guy, men are, and I'll answer this as well, and I see this girl, you finding the wife in her or him?
I'm not going to say it's impossible, but likely no.
So where are you finding your husband at?
You're finding your husband by doing what you got to do for yourself.
Your husband might be in the supermarket right now supplying food for himself to eat.
He very well
You see what I'm saying? Before you find him in the club.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying is if I'm one that would much rather spend quality time with myself, or if I had one, a woman, than go to the club every given Friday night, I'm looking at myself more husband material than the niggas that are in the club every Friday night.
Right.
And that's just a small sample serving. You know what I'm saying? Like if I go up and I get up and I go to work every day to provide for mine and myself, I'm giving myself more of a husband-like quality more than a man that's outside trapping, waiting for any and everything to happen to him.
And I agree with you. So why at that point would a man that's in doing what he got to do for himself sitting there going after a girl that should be with somebody that's trapping every day? I feel like this argument and this question could be completely avoided if you go for the people that fit in what you want. If you want somebody that's going to bring those husband or those wife-like qualities, go for those people who are living that same lifestyle as you.
But you got some people that's halfway in, halfway out.
And that's their problem. But that's why they experience the trauma that they do within relationships. Because they halfway in, halfway out.
I think we found the answer.
I'm just saying.
I think we found the answer.
All right, so my question for you, which is my last question for you, is now that you're growing older and becoming more stable and establishing yourself in life, when do you feel like you'll be ready for marriage, and what do you feel like you're required for that? So when you putting a ring on Jazz, he giving you the answer. Hold on, girl.
I want to be married before 30.
Okay, and you are
4. I want to be married young, honestly. Like 30 is like the push for me.
Pushing it.
Yeah, that's really the push for me because I feel like in relationships, like the time that you have to give a person before you put a ring on them, it minimizes as you get older. Like what I mean is, I'm 24 right now. I probably got 3 max solid years to give to somebody before I'm like
3 years?
Like no, I'm saying. Let me finish though. I'm saying I got 3 years out of my life right now to give somebody before I'm like, all right, if it ain't here right now, it ain't gonna work. Because when I turn like 37, I don't got 3 years to give you before I figure this shit out. I got like 6 months because I got to figure out. At that point, I feel like I got to move on. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how they say like how long you got to be with somebody before you want to marry them.
Right. How long do you feel like that is?
That all depends. If I'm 24, I got 3 years to not waste, but to like try. If I turn 37, I ain't got them 3 years no more. See, I got like 6 months, and I gotta go find me another mama to go. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like the difference in our ages depend on this answer because for me, I'm not giving you 3 years before you feel like you realize if you want to put a ring on it or not.
You think that's too much time?
That's too much time. You didn't learn within the first year if you wanted to put a ring on it or not?
So me personally, I did. I want to marry Jazz.
Oh.
Like I know already, and it's only been a year together, 2 years knowing each other. You know what I'm saying? But like, I knew that sooner than this though. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew that before the 2 years. I knew that before she was my girlfriend. That she was someone worth marrying. You know what I'm saying? I saw the qualities in her that I needed to see.
So I think there's a difference between you're someone worth marrying and I want to marry you.
Well, I'm saying I saw that she was someone worth marrying before we was together. Okay. Now I know I want to marry her. You know what I'm saying? That's like without a doubt. Like I want her to have my kids. I want to marry her. I want all of that.
I can tell within the first 5 minutes of a conversation if a relationship between me and somebody will work.
This is true. I'm the same way.
I can tell within the first month of talking if a marriage between me and somebody, consistently talking, like actually being intentional about the talking phase or the dating. I'm sorry, not talking, dating.
Mm-hmm. Intentional is a big word, like not just cruising through, like actually like learning you and like.
Let me pull up on you every now and then. Like, no, being intentional about going on dates and spending time with each other and getting to know each other. I feel like I know within the first month if you're somebody I would marry. Mm-hmm. So I feel like for me, that time span is short because at the end of the day, not that I'm not pushing 30. I'm not pushing 30. I just want to put that out there. But the fact that I'm getting older and I've been through, like I had my fun as it gets for me, like, I've experienced the casual dating and the talking to people. I've experienced the toxicness and I'm over that or whatever. I think now it's just a matter of I see where I'm going. Mm. And even though I'm not dating now, I know that when I am ready to date, it's only going to be people that I see worth marrying. Mm-hmm. And I don't have us being boyfriend and girlfriend for a year or two before you put a ring on it. I don't. I'm sorry.
So, like, I think before you put a ring on it and knowing that you're going to put a ring on it is like that would give you that extra push of time.
What is the wait after? Not necessarily what is the wait because there is no rush. But what is the wait after you know you're going to put a ring on it and actually putting a ring on it?
Because what if somebody got their future planned out a certain way? Because I may be a bad person for that. Because like for example, like I don't know, I want all these extravagant things and I want these moments to be extravagant. So like I might put pressure on myself to spend more money on things than what you're expecting. Like a woman may want a $3,000 ring, where I'm sitting here saving up $10,000.
Okay, I get that and I understand.
And that could take a little longer.
I get that and I understand. I feel like that makes sense, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like I look at it in different ways because I see your perspective and I agree with that. But at the same time, it's like why? I feel like I'm not a guy. So, of course, I wouldn't be buying an engagement ring at all. But the way I look at it is not necessarily what y'all should do. But why aren't you, when you meet somebody and you know, once you get that thought of, I'm going to marry this girl. Because you saw that I could see a potential in having a marriage with, but now that you know, I'm going to marry you. Now, why aren't you making that goal a reality?
So, I am. But what if my reality of it just requires this extravaganza? Like I'm saying, like for example, like what if I want to be in Jamaica when I propose? Like that could be things that's slowing it down.
Okay.
And it's like shit that I gotta do before then, before I get there.
Okay, so I agree with you, and I get it. I feel like some people.
Because like right now, I'm trying to move into a house, so I can't even. If I'm saving up cheese, that cheese could be going towards the crib. I want to. You feel me? Before I can put towards. Now you gotta wait even longer. So it's like, do you want to? You want to be married now? Like you want to be engaged now and like be in a apartment or a smaller crib, or you want to be in this big dumbass house?
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, when it comes to marriage, at the end of the day, I get the point of having like, oh, we need to have this house, we need to have to drive these cars and all that, but at the same time, life throws so much shit at you. We already know adulting throws so much unexpected shit at you that it's like you're gonna have this long drawn out plan and it's not gonna work out that way. Where I thought I'd be 6 years ago and where I am now, two completely different places. I don't have the same goals. I'm not like looking at the same thing. So if life is changing so fast and you never know what's going to come up, but the one thing you are sure of is this person that you want to marry, why aren't you making that a reality regardless of what hurdles are in your way? So if I know that I need to have this house, but it might be a few unexpected bills that come in the way that get in the way of getting this house. For example, you might gotta fix your credit or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. So if I know that I got a long road to get to the house before I even propose to you, that might take 2-3 years. Now we 2-3 years boyfriend and girlfriend. We could have been 2-3 years married, getting a house together. Like I feel like it's a lot of hurdles that you can jump over by not worrying about this is how life should be before I make you my wife, because at the end of the day, you're still spending life with this person while waiting to get that ring. So why not spend life married than spend life trying to get there?
I actually like that answer more than what I felt before, because you're right. When you put it that way, it's like, okay, now that we're married, because there's other things that's held back because I'm not married yet. Like, I don't want to have no kids without being married. Ooh, that's the biggest one for me. That's the biggest one for me. But I want to have kids.
Like, I want to have a lot of kids.
I'm ready to like send my kid to Nana house when they get on my nerves now. You feel me? Like,
and I will gladly take them. That's my problem.
I'm ready to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready to like have a kid. So like, you're right. That is like maybe that should be the first priority. But as a man, I'll just put this out there. Sometimes the fear is knowing that, sure, and maybe that's what I'm waiting for, and maybe I have it and I just haven't seen it yet. I'm not saying and putting anything against my woman. Maybe I just haven't seen it yet. The fear is, you see these movies where it's like this woman married to this man, and it's like, you wait. You ever saw the movie? I can't remember the name. It was a Tyler Perry movie, and they were married since kids. The mom left the girl house, and they was living in this house together. Bills was getting packed up. They was married. Bull was trying to get this experiment to work. When he got the experiment to work, they had already divorced, and he basically became a billionaire.
Oh, I didn't see
Acrimony?
I think that exactly.
Is that what it is?
Is that Acrimony? It's something like that. But yeah, I know exactly what movie you're talking about.
So it's like,
and she felt like she was owed.
Yeah, and it's like, are you going to trust me to get my plan before I get it once we marry? Like, do you have the patience? I think what men deal with sometimes is, I got to get here before I be with somebody, because me selling somebody a dream could just be selling somebody a dream.
I also feel like with men, y'all put a lot of pressure on yourself, and this is something I had to learn. I had to learn to look outside myself and look to the person I may be dealing with. And I feel like I learned a lot over the years, just being able to step outside myself, is that men put so much pressure on themselves because they want to feel so stable and secure so that they can then give that security to their partner. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I understand both sides, where I'm coming from my side.
Yeah, I understand
you coming from your side with saying that I need to have these things so that we can be we good, like, basically before I put a ring on it. So I feel like I get it, and I feel like part of something I've learned also is the step back. And one thing my big sister used to always tell me is, let a man be a man, because I had the word submission. I used to argue in Greater Hope about that word because I hated it so much, but now I understand it and I actually agree with it. Because my idea of what submission was just not good, unhealthy, basically. And I feel like now I can allow a man to lead, rather than I feel like I always had to be like, no, this is the way things are going. Like it was bad. It was bad. But now I can actually sit back and be like, okay, this is how you want to do things. Okay, I'm gonna help you achieve this goal for us or whatever. This is your plan for us. All right, I could actually sit there and follow somebody else's plan rather than going against my own. Even though I have my own plan, like, within my own life, but how can we make that one, basically? So
and I love that you have that, because a lot of women don't have that submissive trait. And what it does is it makes it like you going against him in a way. And because you have it and you're like, well, let's do it for this. Now, if I'm a man and you saying, okay, this is your plan, this is how we're going to do it, now I'm looking for you for advice, because now you trust me. Right. So now you trust me and we on the same page. So now I can trust in you and in your advice, because now I know we're on the same page and we trying to go to the same place.
And that's a different level of trust than relationship trust. That's me trusting you. Basically, I'm trusting you in my life and where you're taking us, basically. And I had to learn that too. That I did not have that. And a lot of times you being a strong, independent black woman gets in the way of you trusting a man to lead. Which is why I don't claim that anymore. Right. I'm not a strong, independent black woman at all. Because then it gets in the way for, now that I'm looking to get married, me allowing that man that I'm marrying to lead and to be a man, and me stepping outside of that. I don't have to wear the pants in a relationship because he does, basically. So I can step outside and allow him to lead because I'm not a strong, independent black woman. So a lot of people still have the ideology that they're so strong, such a strong, independent black woman, they cannot. And that's the problem in our generation. And I feel like when they get that, then everything clicks.
Right.
But it does take a lot of self-work. Like, it took a lot to get where I am today. And it took a lot to know, to just not feel like, when you feel like you always have to be in control, it's because you don't trust that other person. When it comes to not just relationship. Because, I trust you. All right, I trust you not to cheat on me. But do I trust you to lead? And I had to learn that. That's one thing I will say.
Hey, man. This has been great.
It really has been. We might be back for a part 2.
I'm about to say, we gotta do this again.
We definitely gotta do this again. Yeah.
Because it's some more shit we gotta get off our chest, and we could probably help some people.
We actually, this could actually be, that might be a little segment.
Because it's like, you catching both sides. I know it's a lot of men that's gonna say, yeah, that's why I do that dumb shit. And then they'll hear your side, and I need them to watch this with their girl sometime if you got one. You know what I'm saying? Because then she'll say the same thing. Well, that's why I do that. You know what I'm saying? Then when you put the two together and you get to see a way out, that's all somebody's really looking for. Nobody want to really, at least me, I don't want to bicker and argue with nobody all day.
Right.
But if we can find a way out where we both feel cool, let's jump to that. So it's been real.
It really has been. And I feel like my first episode on the podcast was actually about healthy relationships. And then the very next episode I came on and I said how I'm not talking about relationships for a while. And since then, because I feel like I was even in a space where I had to get to know myself and learning myself. So I didn't feel like I had, not necessarily had the qualifications to talk about relationships, but I didn't feel like it was important because me was important. You are important first before a relationship, or a relationship will never work. So this is my first episode talking about relationships since then. And
not only relationships, but this is a relationship.
Right. And that's another thing. People don't understand that there are relationships outside of romantic relationships.
Right.
This is a relationship. The relationships you have outside of romantic relationships are very important to keep healthy, to keep your romantic relationship healthy.
Because these relationships that, like me and yours, tend to go like romantic relationships.
Right.
Because we've had ups and downs.
We have.
And we had to communicate to get through them.
Right.
Without communication, and without communication and accountability, we would not be here right now.
At all, actually, and that gets deeper.
Yeah, I love you.
But I love you too, and we will definitely be back.
Definitely.
I love this. This was great, and I feel like we definitely could talk about more and help more people. So definitely. Thank you for coming to the You Can't Say That podcast. I'm your host Jigga. This has been Keese,
my
best friend, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah, you can't say this.